this should be a very important game tonight. Brenzel again makes a nice cut to the outside.
You can talk about second and third effort.
To the pylon, touchdown, Charlestown. Great catch in front of the goal line.
That was a perfect throw. The sophomore quarterback
makes a great cut up the field. It's Gonzalez with the carry, bounces to the outside, to the back of the end zone.
Wow.
What a catch by Ryan Wynn. Hello, Boston, and welcome to Saunders Stadium in Southie for a matchup of two Boston South rivals here this evening as the English Eagles will be taking on the South Boston Knights. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. And Alan, we're 2 weeks away from high school football playoffs. It's crazy to think about that.
It flies by, you're right.
November 1st is that first Friday night of state football playoffs here in Massachusetts. And these two teams are sort of on the bubble. English definitely
big
on the bubble. But
big bubble, and the
in.
needle's right there,
That's
right?
It could be very tight for Boston English to get in the playoffs this year. They have 2 wins, 4 losses. A lot of those losses have come outside the city. Big loss last week against Tech Boston, but a win here tonight I think would pretty much get them in.
Well, get them back on track. They'll stay in that. There's some muddle of teams.
That's right.
In that division. So you're right. The win for English is huge, and so they're coming into this. Like you said, the tough loss, defensive struggle against Tech Boston,
right.
Of all surprises of the season. But lost that game, tough loss. They really want to bounce back in a big way today.
No question. And you talk about the South Boston Knights, meanwhile, on the other side, and still looking for their first win, struggling a little bit this season, but nothing would be better for this football program than to beat a Boston South rival who's trying to get into the playoffs.
Exactly. Be a spoiler. That's what a lot of times coaches will tell teams. And let's talk about South Boston for a quick second. I mean, they're a combined school now with the Burke.
That's right.
First year doing it, and there's always growing pains in that. We've seen a number of situations where this has happened. As a matter of fact, English with Mission, what was that, 2 years, either second year or third year, but it's not the first year.
Right.
The first year is always the toughest. You have players unsure. You have situations where players have expectations of coaches, and sometimes it takes a while during the real season to work those things out. I think South Boston's, we've seen some of those problems crop up on some of the unfamiliarity, and so therefore they're winless so far.
No question. Now, one player who they're going to count on a lot tonight is their starting running back, Avante Withers. He does a lot for this football team, and he's a guy who was on Burke the last couple of seasons.
Well, he's in terms of a veteran player, a player you can count on. He has experience because of his 2 seasons at the Burke. Like you said, good athlete, likes to get outside, can catch the ball, as you can see in that clip right there, but does have good power inside, loves to get to the sideline. We'll see if he can get around this English defense tonight.
No question. We'll see. He has certainly been an explosive player, had some big plays for the South Boston team throughout the season. We'll see if he can pop a couple of those here this evening. Meanwhile, for Boston English, they got a sophomore running back who we saw just 2 weeks ago against Charlestown. That's Keyshawn Kerr. He's our spotlight player tonight. Very deceiving runner for the English Eagles.
Deceiving is a good word, Pat, because what impressed me a couple weeks ago when we saw him about Kerr was the first most impressive play I saw was a block. Then after that, he caught a pass. Then after that, he ran a sweep. Then after that, he ran between tackles. So he can pretty much do just about anything. And he's very willing, like I said, he's very willing to be a team player by throwing blocks for his other running backs. So Kerr, like I said, like you said, rather, has done pretty much everything. There you see where he exhibited his straight-out speed. He beat the corner, the linebacker, and the safety, all for a touchdown.
That's right, 104 rushing yards 2 weeks ago, including 2 TDs for Boston English. He actually had a 3rd TD called back because of a block in the back.
That was the most impressive of all of them.
That was a great run by Keyshawn.
But it was called back because of a block.
That's right. So we'll see if Keyshawn will be fed the ball tonight, just like we think Southie's going to be feeding Avante Withers here this evening. Now, for more on this game and the quarterback situation for Boston English, we're going to go to our sideline reporter, Michelle Fenelon, who's got an update for us. Michelle, what do you have?
We've heard about running back by committee, but how does quarterback by committee sound? English starting quarterback Ja'Kai Smith and backup QB Chris Smith both went down last week with ankle injuries. Both will not play tonight. Hakeem Alagon, who's played tight end throughout the entire season, will get the start tonight at quarterback. But head coach Ryan Conway told me you can expect to see multiple players taking snaps under center. Guys?
Michelle, thanks very much. And certainly a tough situation with Boston English. They lost their two quarterbacks, a starter and their backup last week to injuries. But Hakeem Olagon, he's going to be the starter tonight. It's tough to take him out of that tight end spot. We've seen him catch a lot of passes, but he's got some experience at quarterback, as Coach Conway mentioned.
He's one of the few guys who have some experience who you can turn to. Plus, he's one of the team leaders. And so it's easier for him to slip into that in charge of the huddle type role.
That's right.
It's not as if you have a nervous kid coming in who his teammates aren't sure of. Olagun definitely can take control of the huddle, pep his team up. Plus, he can make plays himself. That's the thing. He's a good enough athlete. He can either throw the ball downfield or he can run the ball himself. So I think that's one good thing English has, even though you never want to lose both your quarterbacks, your first and second string quarterback, especially when you're coming into a game, like we said, which is key for English with their playoff hopes.
Well, we'll see how they deal with that. They had 4 guys warming up at quarterback before this game, so we'll see. I think a few guys are going to get under center here for Boston English. We're going to head to break. When we come back with the opening kickoff here from Saunders Stadium in South Boston right after these words. Don't go away.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
About inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Welcome back to Saunders Stadium in South Boston. As we get going here on Game of the Week, the South Boston Knights will be hosting the Boston English Blue Eagles. There you see Southie getting ready. They won the toss. They elected to receive. They are in the blue uniforms with the red pants. Meanwhile, Boston English in the all-white unis in the blue trim. Boston English with a 2-4 record coming into tonight, with a tough loss last week to Tech Boston. Meanwhile, Southie looking for their first win of the season. We'll see if they get it here tonight against this Boston South rival.
Yeah, being winless, but it's tough. They've had a couple of big scores against them, too, which can be demoralizing emotionally. But South Boston, it's a home game. It's Friday night, so if you're going to break through into the win column, this is as good a chance as you're going to have.
Onside kick there, straight out of the huddle for Boston English, but Southie does a nice job recovering. We also have a flag on the play, I think because it didn't go 10 yards. Not sure what the flag is there.
Yeah, there was a hit after the ball had been...
Kicking team, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
I guess they're offside. Yeah.
So we'll do it all over again. I don't think the English is going to surprise Southie this time.
Well, 2 weeks ago we saw English with the squib kicks at each time against Charlestown. So, I mean, coaches do talk. Not sure how much they actually get to scout each other during the course of this quick season.
So Louis Pimentel and Avante Withers again back to receive for Boston English. I don't think it's going to get that far with the way that they line up this kick.
This wind is just starting to kick up.
As we talked about 2 weeks ago, too, Ryan Conway spent about 15 years as an assistant coach for Boston English, and this is how they kick off as well. So I think most coaches know Ryan's probably going to have this approach on the kickoffs.
Well, you tip it off when you put the ball flat anyway.
Right.
So that makes the other team a little bit more alert.
More of a squib kick down the middle of the field. It's fielded right around the 39-yard line here for South Boston. And ball carriers wrapped up right around the 43.
Short comeback.
I think that was Withers who had the return there for the Knights. They're the starters for Southie. Nathan Martin, rather. Withers, Pimentel, Almonte, and Freeman.
First time seeing South Boston. Burke, see what they like to come out with. English, a couple weeks ago, we were at English for that game. Got off to a great start against the struggling Charlestown team. But like you said, English does have more to play for in this game, much more to play for than South Boston.
Right now, number 7 for Southie is in, Rasheer Cameron Stone. So unless Nathan Martin switch jerseys, that's Stone who gives the handoff on the first play of the game to Withers, who picks up about 2 yards on first down.
Simple inside run, like you said, penetration by English, holds to a short gain. With this wind, I'm really wondering how much each coach is going to want to throw the ball. And it just started as we went on the air. But we expect it anyway. We're right next to the ocean. So
yeah, it's usually a little windy at this field.
Ton
of wind yesterday here in the area. We had crazy storms.
No way we could have done a game yesterday.
Last 2 games. Oh, thank goodness they didn't switch to Thursday games this week. Now on second down for South Boston, the handoff to Withers again, and he has nowhere to go. He's wrapped up in the backfield by the English Eagles.
Yeah, he's just being keyed on because they actually had a ball fake before Withers got it, but the English totally ignored the fake. they had no idea other than Withers that he's the guy who's in their sights.
Tyrese Ford getting in there along with Josiah Jean for the tackle. So 1 yard loss in the play. It'll be 3rd and 11 now for Southie.
This may be our first indication of how much South Boston's willing to pass the ball. Obvious passing down.
Cameron Stone now lined up once again on the shotgun formation. Trips to the bottom of your screen. Cameron Stone looking to throw, and he's wrapped up in the backfield. Coming up for the sack there for Boston English is George Zabalou.
Yeah, Stone didn't realize that Zabalou was that close to him. He's trying to get the ball to the sideline. Watch, he's looking down to the sideline, doesn't hear the footsteps, I guess you could say, and gets thrown for the loss and the sack.
About a 3 yard loss on that play. It'll be that's about a 7 yard loss on that play. It'll be 4th and 17 now for South Boston.
It's just tough when you have a lot of unfamiliarity among your players. Talk about offensive line, defensive line, coordination. Simple rollout play like that, blocking broke down early.
Southie looking to punt. Back to receive for Boston English is Donovan Solomon. And now Southie whistle for delay of game.
Staff, timeout.
Oh, timeout, okay. They avoid the delay again with timeout. Actually, they were close getting the penalty. They had 12 in the huddle. So they might have noticed that and called timeout. It's just tough when you're winless, and here we are close to the end of October. Like you said, we're only a couple weeks away from the first round of playoffs. There's the season, a little bit of a break, I guess, because around in Boston, the region, we always have the traditional Thanksgiving games.
That's right.
That's usually how you sort of gauge the end of the season and then the playoffs. But new format was been in place, what, 5 years now?
I want to say 5 or 6 years.
About 5 years, yeah. Where the good part of it, it gives a lot more teams a chance to get into what they call postseason play, playoff play. I think some coaches like it, others don't. The whole notion of a team with less than 500 record, into postseason, For a lot of old timers, this doesn't feel right.
Right.
But
which I can understand.
Right. But again, it's the main thing is it does give more teams a chance to get in.
So looks like Southie's back to their punt formation, ready to go here on 4th down. Solomon back to receive for Boston English.
Ooh,
high snap over the head of the punter, and then he's going to be tackled at the 10-yard line.
Wow.
So Cameron Stone unable to get that snap that was about 10 feet over his head.
He had no chance on that. Watch this. No chance at all. The ball's even out of the screen. That's how high it was. And he's actually lucky just he held on. He got hit immediately after he tried to pick it up.
And once again, it was Zabalou in there for the tackle. So Zabalou with 2 early tackles here to start the game. Now it's Boston English with the football. Hakeem Allagon in there at quarterback. They're the starters for the English Eagles. Allagon, Stevens, and Kerr in the backfield. White and Pena are the wideouts. On first down, the handoff to Kerr. Keyshawn Kerr waltzes into the end zone for a touchdown.
I'll tell you, Pat, the total opposite of what we saw when South Boston had their first plays from scrimmage. Not much blocking up front. This is almost like a scrimmage practice type of play. The first contact he gets is at the 1-yard line and simply slides by that.
Get another look at it here.
You talked about Kerr in the open. I mean, he's just a really versatile back. Does a little bit of everything.
He sort of glides through the line, too. Yeah. Very deceptive speed, as you mentioned, in the open. And I'm sure some of those guys think they wrap him up, and then all of a sudden he's
gone. There you go.
English now looking for the 2-point conversion in a spread formation. It's Olagon going to take it himself up the middle, and it looks like he's going to be stuffed. So no 2-point conversion.
Good job by South Boston.
Is able to get a stop there.
Showing some emotion. I mean, I think they keyed on that, figuring that the big tight end / quarterback was going to just keep it, safe play. So good thrust from the middle of their defensive line. Watch the left side of your screen. You'll see good penetration. Allagon had nowhere to go. Actually, normally you'll see a quarterback try to bounce it outside, but no chance at all.
So a 1-play, 10-yard drive that lasted all of 6 seconds. And that 1 play was the 10-yard touchdown run from Keyshawn Kerr to get Boston English on the scoreboard here early in the first quarter. After the South Boston Knights had a high snap on their punt that got English to the 10-yard line. So the Eagles will once again be kicking off to Southie here in the early going. See if South Boston can recover, bounce back here after that tough first series.
Well, they got to, first of all, recover the squib kick that's coming.
Again goes with the squib. Good job fielding the football right around the 48-yard line. So Southie with slightly better field position. Yeah, one of the offensive linemen for Southie, number 62, which we don't have on the roster, was able to recover there for the Knights.
Let's see if South Boston gets a little bit of the pep from that 2-point conversion stop. Like you said, they get a couple of good skill players who can run the football to get some running room. That's the key. The guys up front have to work together. Offensive linemen give those runners some running room, especially Withers.
Now it's Nathan Martin back in there for South Boston. On the second series of the game, we'll see if him and Stone interchange throughout the game. The handoff to Withers this time finds a little bit of room and makes his way up to the 48-yard line. And they had him marked down at the 47, so he's actually at the 49, so a 2-yard pickup here on first down.
This time a little bit of a right slant play going to the right. I mean, you got to like that. They're trying different formations and different plays to get the ball into Withers' hands. They just have to get a little more open field.
Now on second down, it's Withers again. scampers past midfield up to the 48, make that the 49-yard line.
And you see, this is his individual ability here. It's a little bit of a problem with the handoff, threw the timing off a bit, but made something out of nothing.
So another short gain. It'll be 3rd and 6 now for South Boston.
This seems to be a situation where, because English is playing so close to the line of scrimmage, screen pass might be something you want to think about, especially with Withers, who can, like we said earlier, can do just about everything.
So 3rd and 6 now for the Knights. See if they go with Martin's arm. This time he can't handle the snap, and he's just going to have to pounce on it. And once again, it's going to be 4th down for South Boston.
Well, these early minutes, we're seeing a lot of signs of what makes a team winless. Had the bad snap on the punts. We had a couple of bobbles trying to get the ball just in straight handoffs, and now we have on a 3rd and an attempt for a 1st down, forced into a punch situation again. They're going to go for it. Oh, okay.
Right now they're lined up to go for it here on 4th and 11 for Southie. Once again, it's Martin in the shotgun with Withers to his left. Martin going to the air, looking for a receiver.
This catch, it's going to be
caught
short,
at
though.
midfield, but well short of the 1st down. Didn't quite see who got the reception. Like it was the tight end, number 49 for Southie.
That's rest. They actually went for the 4th and was a 7. But again, the inexperience, I mean, the receiver didn't go downfield far enough for the 1st down, and then you had the quarterback throwing the ball a little too soon. So English takes over on downs. And the same way that we've seen English defense keying on Withers, South Boston has to really look for Kerr.
On 1st down for English, they hand off over the left side. Bouncing it to the outside is Luke McDonald, who finishes off the run nicely up to the 38-yard line. I'm sorry, that's not Luke McDonald. That's Terrell Geathers with a nice carry.
When we had English a couple weeks ago, they had what, 6 different runners.
That's right.
That was before the 4th quarter. This is the bouncing out we talked about. Look for some room, and then finish off your run strong.
You see Hakeem Mulligan making his first start at quarterback this season as they hand off to Irby Exelholm here on 1st down. Exelholm spins his way up to the 31-yard line. I believe there's a flag on the play as well.
Yeah, Exelholm had that amazing drive where he almost had like 70 yards.
Like
just
3
in
runs.
one sequence.
An illegal shift in the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Yeah, a little anxiety, a little over anxious for English. Sometimes players, you just get so excited because you scored. Okay, you got a break when they had the bad snap on the punt by South Boston. So you get the ball to the 10-yard line, one play, you score. You come back on defense, get the ball on downs, and you're just thinking, okay, let's get in as soon as possible to try to open this up quick.
So instead, English will be faced with a 1st and 15 here from the South Boston 43-yard line.
It's Kerr.
Kerr over the right side, finds the edge. Keyshawn Kerr makes his way up to the 21-yard line. Picks up a 1st down for English.
See, he's already in motion, takes the handoff, has a lead blocker. He'll cut. Instead of going out of bounds, he likes to finish off. And this is so far the good English we've seen. We talked about them before, having such a Jekyll and Hyde season so far.
That's right.
But This is definitely the good version.
Now it's Oligan calling his own number on the quarterback keeper. Akeem Oligan still on his feet. Does he rumble into the end zone?
He get the ball over.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Akeem.
That last dive, Pat, he actually was able to sort of spike the ball into the end zone. Looked like he was going down around the 3-yard line. Now watch this. This is the size he has. Decent speed, excellent size. Knocks over. Now this is his last dive is what gets him into the end zone.
Heck of a stretch there from Oligan. 4-play, 48-yard drive for Boston English. That is capitalized by that touchdown run from tonight's quarterback, Akeem Oligan.
There you go.
25-yard scamper for the big fella.
Use that strength and that size of his to bounce off 2 would-be tacklers, then find the space for that long stretch. They love this setup. They have a spread. Sometimes they'll put there goes the motion guy, Kerr.
They go the scissor play inside. And I think English was able to punch through this time. Yes, they do for the 2-point conversion. It was Herbie Exelholm that time with the run for Boston English. So on that drive, you saw several running backs and the quarterback make contributions. Here you see Exelholm.
Scissors, little misdirection. All you want to do is get the defense to lean one way. In that case, they lean left. The ball comes back right. Before you know it, Exelholm has 2 more points.
4 runners tonight for Boston English have touched the football already. So you mentioned, Alan, 2 weeks ago when we saw them use about 6 different running backs.
Before it was, in the fourth quarter, they really brought in second and third stringers. But even before that, they had 6 runners in the first 3 quarters. And they all made contributions too. So English, well, you have to give the coaching staff credit. They have the players ready. They know that they still have a chance to get into playoff action. That's what all athletes want, no matter what sport it is. Get into whatever format of your postseason there is.
We've seen some teams, too, that only had a couple of wins during the regular season.
Oh, yeah. And
go a couple of rounds in the football playoffs.
Yeah. And that's the argument to do it. The argument against it is, teams should earn it with good records. But the argument for it is, okay, some teams develop late in the season.
Here's Southie on the return after fielding it right around the 33-yard line. I believe that's Withers on the carry.
Yeah, you can tell by the moves.
You can tell by the stutter step.
Oh, definitely.
That Withers is the one on that return.
He got some skills. It's one of those things where it's always tough when you see good players, really skilled players who just don't have the type of support from other teammates or experience other teammates to go along with their skill. He jukes to 2, 3 guys there, and then cuts back in, tries to get to the sideline. Good pursuit by English. Yeah.
Just a 4-yard return there for Withers. So South Boston this time will take over at their own 37-yard line. And you see Nathan Martin in his 3rd season as a starting quarterback for South Boston. We didn't see Southie last year, but we did see them 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, and Nathan was the starting quarterback.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Coach Seti White described him as a player who just kind of finds a way.
The fumble.
And that time, he found a way to fumble the football. It was actually on the exchange there from the quarterback to the running back. And Boston English recovers inside the 20-yard, make them inside the 30-yard line.
Well, you talk about everything going wrong for South Boston. This is, again, simple handoff, and the ball just never gets there. Martin trying to recover, got knocked off the ball by one of the English defenders. Yeah. This might
Zabalou once again with the recovery.
This score can really get wide quick.
English now at the 31-yard line of South Boston. On first down, the handoff over the left side to Exelholm. Herbie's still on his feet as he slithers up to the 15, make it the 16-yard line.
When we did that, let's watch this again. Herbie Exelholm, good all-around athlete. As a matter of fact, when we did the English Charlestown game, had a chance to talk to his older brother.
That's right.
It was interesting hearing his older brother describe Herbie's talents. He said, "He's just like me."
That was after Herbie had a nice drive, right?
We do a lot of the same things.
His older brother Irvin, who played at West Roxbury High a couple of years ago as a quarterback, receiver, running back, sort of a jack of all trades. Herbie's in that same category. Now it's a handoff up the middle this time for Boston English.
Yeah,
and nowhere to go with it.
See, they faked that that handoff, that motion handoff to Kerr and went up the middle. So they faked to Kerr, then go up the middle. Actually, good job by South Boston that time. The nose tackle was able to get that first hit.
First run for English so far that was not good for a first down. South Boston with a stop momentarily. It'll be 2nd and 9 now for Boston English.
Boston, they're second of the first half. Timeout, South Boston.
Southie takes a timeout.
Now, looking at the South Boston roster pad, you know, they have 18 players who are either sophomores or freshmen. So a lot. We talked about inexperience. We talked about combining two schools, two groups of players. So there's just a lot of sort of unfamiliarity going on, and youth. So I think in terms of next year, next couple of years, they may have something. If all these younger players stick with it and develop over the off seasons, they may have something going.
That's always the key to a lot of these football programs too, is not necessarily having the seniors and juniors, but can you keep the freshmen and sophomores in the building?
Right. Yeah. That's.
Coach Southie White even mentioned that, you know, to start the season, because of the co-op program between South Boston and Burke, that he was kind of going easy on the team a little bit. And then he actually said this past week or so, you know, if there are guys on this team that don't want to commit to this program, then you can take off.
Yeah,
and a few guys did leave the team. Southie still has about 35 to 37 guys. Coach Southie White was comfortable with that happening, and he's got guys in this team who want to play.
So that's the key. You have to have a commitment.
Now on 2nd down, short gain this time for Boston English. As I believe that was Getters again on the carry. I'm sorry, that was Pedro Barrero.
That was Pedro, yeah.
On the sweep there. Look, we had a face mask on that play as well, but no flag that time.
Yeah, all the action has been in the South Boston side of the field. Miscues by South Boston, good offense by English. And it's a bad combination.
So 6 players now for Boston English have rushed with the football so far here in the first quarter.
You see a little confusion on the alignment.
Handoff is to Kerr this time. Keyshawn skips through the defense and into the end zone for
gliding?
his 2nd touchdown of the night.
You said gliding before, right? That's another good example of it. Quick feet. Watch this. Once he gets it, it's almost like everybody else is going in slow motion. So he has a 10-yard touchdown and an 11-yard touchdown.
He gets through that hole quick. So Keyshawn, 37 rushing yards tonight on just 3 carries. 2 of those rushes for touchdowns. Now on the 2-point conversion, high snap as DeAndre Ball is in at quarterback.
We got all kinds of stuff going on. We got English in motion. Might have offside on South Boston. You get a bad snap.
We have offsides on the defense. We'll retry it down after enforcement of the penalty.
That was the first of many infractions. That's the one that'll count.
So English will get it about a yard closer, yard and a half closer to the end zone for this
you might be
two-pointer.
getting some frustrated South Boston players right now. I mean, they come into the game, get a little motion. The defensive end just didn't even attempt to slow himself down. Like I was saying, it's in the tough part. We're still in the first quarter. Here we are. You know, they're down 3 touchdowns already, and one of those situations where you just start getting angry.
Timeout, South Boston. Their third and final of the first half.
They must have had some confusion on their defensive alignment.
That's their third timeout. Here you see assistant coach. I believe that's Kirk Womack. He was an assistant last year for West Roxbury. Very fired up that time. I'm guessing Kirk is running the defense.
I think he's just trying to get the kids to settle down and play, because it does seem like there's some talking going back and forth. When you start having mental mistakes like South Boston's had, a lot of times you do lose your focus when you're more concerned about either the score or how poorly you're playing or how well English is playing. Just got to refocus. There's some of that emotion you're talking about, Pat. I mean, you give coaches can give assignments. They can put you in positions. They can, especially in the defense, and all the most basic thing a defensive coach asks for is just understand what we're trying to do and how you fit into it. And then, of course, Bill Belichick made famous, just do your job. Don't try to be a Superman, just do your part.
English again on the two-point attempt. This time it's a direct snap to Ball. DeAndre Ball barrels in for the two-pointer. Coach Conway mentioned several players will line up at quarterback tonight. It's Ball here on the two-point conversion as he takes it in himself.
Okay, the toughest part was just gathering in that snap. He ran over Herbie Exelholm. They'll have a laugh about that in the bus back.
Third touchdown tonight for Boston English. 2 two-point conversions converted for the Eagles. They're on top 22-0 here over South Boston late in the first quarter.
I'll tell you the way this is going, there's some happy English players on the sideline, backup players looking, okay, how soon am I getting in?
Right. First half or second half?
Let's get in before I get too cold.
Boston English so far here in this game, 98 yards on the ground here in just the first quarter. As once again they go with the squib kick. This one goes out of bounds, so that'll be a flag on Boston English. And Southie might elect to just kick it right there.
Exactly.
Keep it right there rather than.
That's good position.
We have a free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. South Boston is elected to take it at the out of bounds spot, plus 5 yards, first down.
So Southie will take it, and then they get the 5-yard legal procedure penalty. So it's up to the 42-yard line. This is where most of their possessions have started tonight, right around this area, but Southie still looking for their first down of the game.
Well, we talked about them coming into the game 0-5. They just had a tough time on offense. They've been shut out once. They scored 14 points twice, though, and they've scored 6 and 8 points. So they can score. They just have to, like anybody else, work together, coordinate that blocking up front.
On first down, it's Withers again with the carry. Trying to find any kind of running room. He plows his way forward up to the 44-yard line, so a 2-yard gain there on first down.
And the toughest part for South Boston is Withers, their best running back, so it's so easy for English to decide, well, they don't have much else. So if we just stop him, we'll be fine.
So Withers right now with 5 yards rushing so far here in the first quarter. So he is gained some positive yardage, not a ton. But But he is moving in the right direction. Southie as a whole has negative yards rushing as a team. Now on second down, it's Martin rolling to his right, looking for a receiver, and he's got one on the sideline, but the ball was caught.
He catch it, yeah.
Looked like it might have been broken up by Boston English, but coming up with the catch for South Boston. Looked like number 8 for the Knights as Walter comes up with the grab.
Good throw, too, because he had to throw it in some traffic. He was getting pressure.
I'm sorry, that's number 9, Isaiah Almonte, coming up with the catch. Yeah. One of the players that Coach Saturday White mentioned. And I believe that is going to do it for the first quarter here at Saunders Stadium, as Boston English with a commanding 22-0 lead here in the first quarter, thanks to a couple of nice runs from several of his running backs, including Keyshawn Kerr, who's got 2 touchdowns here so far. Here's one of them right here. We'll be right back with the second quarter here on Game of the Week right after these words. Don't go away, folks.
Green hat, red hat, oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants, oops.
Welcome back to Saunders Stadium in South Boston for Game of the Week. Right now, the Boston English Blue Eagles lead the South Boston Knights 22-0. Folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can certainly go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Game of the Week Boston. A lot of good stuff on that site. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW.
Talked about South Boston a little earlier. They started the season with a loss to Brighton 20-14. They got shut out by St. Mary's 36-0. And they lost to Latin Academy, Tech Boston, and to Charlestown.
So just a 14-yard pickup on that last pass connection from Martin Almonte. Then over the middle, they go again to the air, and again it's a completion for the Knights.
Oh, there's the
again,
magic.
It's Almonte with the catch.
Give Martin a chance to throw the ball. What I like about these 2 passes, they're quick passes. Even though Martin's deep, that allows him a couple of seconds to find the receiver and get the ball downfield.
There's a 9-yard pickup on that play, so it'll be 2nd and 1 now for South Boston. So 2 passes through the air, gain good yardage here for Southie. See if they can pick up another first down.
Well, this will help to loosen up some of that defense for the English has been hovering right around the line of scrimmage the entire quarter.
And it's Martin back to throw over the middle, looking for the tight end, but the ball falls incomplete.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See the little yapping going on. It's a little out of his reach. So 3rd and 1.
See if Southie can pick this up. Certainly 4-down territory right
definitely,
now.
Yeah, this is two handoffs to Withers to keep this drive going. See, South Boston doesn't have any timeouts left, so. Not sure what the South Boston sideline has some questions for the referee.
Southie now Lined up correctly here on 3rd and 1. Another high snap. Martin's just going to have to fall on it. And Boston English picks it up right around the 45-yard line. So just when you think South Boston's got something going, they get another turnover.
It's going downward, though.
Going in the wrong direction.
That's too bad. I mean, it's almost as if you, as a coach, you might just say, listen, Martin, step back 2 more steps, because that's like the 3rd bad snap. Never mind the one on the punt that was totally over the punter's head. So I don't know if it's an inexperienced center or what's going on.
On the offense that follows, the penalties declined. There's also a sideline warning been issued to the South Boston sideline.
Okay,
there was a fumble on the play, recovered by English. First down.
All right,
George Zabalou again with a fumble recovery. That's his 2nd here in the first half.
I'm telling you, this is.
When it rains, it pours.
That's all I can say. I mean, well, that's about the best description for it, because South Boston puts together a couple of nice passes, trying for a very makeable 3rd and short situation, and have a bad turnover. And turnovers in any sport, but especially in football, because you have to work so hard. Turnovers are so frustrating. You talk about emotional level. And
you can do everything right, and then you have one thing go wrong.
Yeah.
Now on 1st down, it's English again with the handoff. And it's Geathers with the carry. That time he gets tripped up.
Yeah, good one-on-one tackle that time.
Just a short gain there on 1st down.
I think it was the safety that came up to corral Geathers.
It was Withers coming up to make that tackle. It's about a 2-yard pickup. Make that a 3-yard pickup on 1st down for Geathers.
Yeah, Withers. Yeah, Withers actually was able to do a good job to get to Geathers' feet, because Geathers was getting ready to slide out to the sideline where he had a lot of room, because Withers is safety. He's usually the last guy. So possibly another big gain for English without that tackle. First pass, wow.
Olligan looking down the right sideline for his receiver, Giovanni Antoine, but that falls incomplete.
English trying to mix it up here. Is already ahead 22-0, but want to have an impressive win. They already put up 40 on East Boston earlier in the season.
They put up 38
There's
against
no
Charlestown.
foul on the play.
Originally a flag, but they'll pick that one up.
Yeah, pick it up because the ball was not catchable. There was a little contact in the defensive backfield, but the ball was well short.
So it'll be 3rd and 7 now for Boston English. Jordy in motion. They hand off together. That one pops up into the air, and Allegan, I think, was able to recover after Geathers got popped and then fumbled the football.
Watch this one. You see the fake to the man in motion. The handoff just never got there. These are the things. English sideline. The coach has got to be frustrated. I mean, you have the game under control at this point. All we have to do is execute simple plays, and this is the stuff we've been running all season. We put our slot guy in motion, and he might get the handoff or he might not, but we all know what the call is. So to keep having these baubles and miscues, it's got to be frustrating, even though you're up 22-0.
So first punt of the evening for Boston English. High snap for them, but McDonald was able to get rid of it, and it's going to roll inside the 15-yard line, down to the 14. Sorry, that was Barrero on the kick. 31-yard punt for Barrero, and South Boston, who had good field position on their last several possessions, this time deep in their own territory.
First time they're starting out really, really bad, but Well, Martin, a little bit of a spark with Martin's a couple of passes downfield to see if he can keep that going. I mean, the most basic stuff has been their problem, the snap. Center quarterback exchange. Martin's been in shotgun most of the game. Had a couple of low snaps, a couple over his head. I mean, they're purposely in shotgun to give him a chance to look over the defense before he lets the ball go. And those last two completions he had, because he had some time.
3 for 4 through the air for 28 yards has Martin Ben. Here on first down, and now we have some early movement.
We have a false start by the offensive line. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Going to back Southie up even more, now back to their own 7. And going back to that shotgun snap, though, you see it in high school. A lot of teams are using this spread formation. They're using that sort of read option type of offense, but sometimes it is hard to find a center who can do the shotgun
snap.
Well,
that's the key. It's consistently, especially if there's a nose tackle right in front of them. That's what a lot of defenses do. They put a player right in front of them. Sometimes it's your biggest player.
Right.
So
it's all about intimidation.
Oh yeah, and that's center has to think about, okay, I got to get the ball back correctly. Then I have to make this block as soon as the ball leaves my hands. And a lot of times, especially for a younger player, that can be, like you said, intimidating. It can be nerve-wracking, and you keep getting hit. That's the biggest part of it. But you're right. That's a key part. That's why a lot of these spread formations for different teams just don't work. They don't have that kind of coordination.
1st and 15 now. The handoff.
They try to get something. They try to draw play that time. They try to show pass, but then try to sneak Withers through the middle. But English is just, even though they give those couple of passes, they just seem like they're going to go wherever Withers goes. And it's not like it's just one guy. They're convinced that South Boston doesn't have much else other than Withers. And so they're not going to let him get free.
We saw Martin go to Almonte for a couple of good connections through the air on their last drive before the high snap and turnover at midfield. We'll see if maybe Martin will go back to the air again.
Yeah, you got a
2nd
penalty
and 14.
on English. Well, it's going to help. They got a little bit of that yardage back on a dead ball foul against English. So he's still first down. I'd like to see him go. I just think you got to just keep throwing it at this point, because English clearly is jamming all the running lanes.
So it's back to a 1st down and 8 now for South Boston, thanks to that penalty.
Yeah, something happened after the whistle.
Martin trying to pitch it over to Withers, and English isn't fooled. Coming up for the tackle that time for the Eagles.
Maybe they have seen South Boston, because that's the first time we saw that sidestep motion, and that might be the tip-off that it's going to be a pitch to Withers.
That's Luke McDonald.
Because you're right. You had the linebacker. I mean, he came up, and it was no hesitation whatsoever. Just going right at Withers.
Like he had seen that play before.
That's definitely the first time that you had that that type of motion. I mean, in the past, Pat, we've seen situations where when a team is defensively keying so much, sometimes the running back just takes a direct snap.
Martin rolling to his right, looking for his tight end. That pass was tipped and falls incomplete.
Yeah, English was going for an interception that time. Just needs to be a little higher. As you see the defender comes up, takes a chance to try to snag that. It'll be 3rd and long.
South Boston once again faced with a 3rd and long here about midway through the 2nd quarter.
Still 22-0 English, off to a fast start, scored in the first, minute of the game.
With us again, the offset back to Martin as South Boston now in a spread formation. Martin being pressured in the backfield, tries to pick up a couple of yards and will make his way to about the 25-yard line. Make that the 24. And if anything, Martin just gave their punter a little extra room to get a kickoff.
I was going to say his first running attempt. Yeah, that pitch play really hurt him because they had a 1st and 8, but when they lost that, 6 or 7 yards on that play, put them back in the hole. I wonder if South Boston does have any plays where they simply have a direct snap rather to Withers. And just have everybody else have blocking assignments.
We'll see what the Knights come up with here. English is lining up like the Knights are going to punt. I don't think they would go for it at this point in the field, but with the way their last snap went on the last punt they attempted,
exactly.
You might just want to go for it.
Another snap like that could turn into a safety or a touchdown. So,
they say English head coach Ryan Conway.
They're back in punt formation.
The high snap, but it does get there, and it's blocked. Boston English blocks the punt. As Zabalou was able to get in there for the Eagles. Boston English will take over inside the 20-yard line.
I'd say between defense and special teams, Zabalou is making his mark on the game. You don't see this too often where a player has so many different ways of impacting the game, but that's exactly what he's done. Wow.
Zabalou's got 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and a block punt here in the first half for Boston English.
Now that has got to be the most bizarre stat line for any player.
Especially in one half.
But it just shows you when you hustle and you complete your assignment, it shows you what you can do. That's.
Hold on a second, guys. And be careful of that.
I remember when I was really young, my father was teaching me. When we watched football, he said, okay, sometimes just forget about the ball. Don't even watch the ball. Just watch what's happening in other parts of the field. It's how you learn what people are supposed to do and whether or not the play can be successful. And
here on the sweep for Boston English. I think that was Ajante White who got his first carry of the game.
This English team. That's good. I like what the English coaches are doing because you're keeping every single player in uniform on alert. All right. You never know when they're going to say, okay, it's your turn. Get in there. This is their regular flanker in motion, taking a direct handoff, already has a head of steam. Short game on that, but that's one of their pet plays.
Now English with the 2nd and goal, right around the 9-yard line. But you were saying before, when you're younger, you try to watch different positions, maybe not necessarily the ball carriers.
Oh yeah, and that's we're talking about how players can have impact without being near the ball, without touching the ball.
Handoff on 2nd down.
Good job by Snell. That time, little reverse action. This is a play in the first quarter, ended up with a big gain. This time, South Boston stayed in their areas. They were able to make the tackle.
Terrell Gathers with a short gain on that play.
Now you can tell by the way some of these South Boston players tackle and the way they attack. They're young players. There's some inexperience. They're not you know, they haven't had enough playing time or experience to understand how to break down, keep your balance before you make a tackle. And but like I said, if it's some of those freshmen or sophomores, then hopefully you can work with them. Let them get their conditioning together during the offseason. We might have something.
3rd and goal now for English. Hand it off over the right side.
Oh, good tackle. Good job.
They
good
wrap
job.
up Boston English in the backfield, so no gain on the play.
See, we weren't seeing any of that type of pursuit, Pat, in the first quarter at all. I don't know what the coaches were saying, but they used all their first half timeouts. Now watch, gets hit, bounce, good second effort by runner, but there you go. More South Boston players, Knights.
Yeah, that was Amari Stevens with the carry. Yeah. Couldn't find any daylight for Boston English.
Before this, the only defensive stand they had was to stop the 2-point conversion. So now, it's 4th down. Yes, it should be 4th and go. Yeah.
Well, 4th down stop here near the goal line would be certainly a positive here for South Boston. In a half where there haven't been a lot of positives, this would certainly help boost their confidence a little bit, I would think, if they can come up with a stop right here.
Well, it'd be the first time they stopped English this close to the goal line. Let's see if looks like the referee is.
He got hit the backfield. He got hit at the 1-yard line and then driven.
Now, South Boston coaches they're challenging the spot of the. I mean, they may actually have a point because the running back was definitely using some second effort to try to get away from the initial hit. The linesman saying he was hit at the 1, and that's where they ended up placing the ball. That's actually a good point for the coaches. I think they're right because he clearly was squirmed out of 1 tackle, and then he got hit 2 or 3 times after that.
Yeah, that forward progress
That's
sort
a
of
tough
threshold
one.
is always
It's so
been a tough
subjective,
call.
exactly.
4th and goal now for English. They hand off to Irby Exelholm, who gets in to the end zone for the touchdown.
Again, some more frustration from the South Boston Knights. Like you said, good stand for the first, 3 plays, and then Exelholm, which makes sense. I mean, he's probably the most experienced of their running backs. We talked about them using like 9 running backs already. He's probably the most experienced, has some size and strength to him. So if you need anybody to get that last yard or so, even though Kerr is, and others, there's the bunch of they have their skills and their roles, but I think Exelholm probably the best choice.
So English now looking to tack on another 2-point conversion. They were successful 2 out of 3 times in the first quarter. Handoff once again up the middle. That time English fumbled the football.
Not sure why would the play be stopped? South Boston kids are upset. They're saying, they're asking the linesman if the play was stopped and he fumbled, why? Okay, the referee's saying that. We know what South Boston coaches are saying. Listen, he fumbled the ball in a 2-point conversion. You can recover and score.
You can pick it up for 2 points.
That's exactly what he's asking.
Bring it back for 2 points.
Referee is now saying that it was blown dead. And the frustration mounts. Well, I mean, it's one of those situations where clearly English is control of the game, but when you're frustrated and everything's been going wrong, you make a couple of positive plays, you hope to get something out of it. Yeah.
So that's going to do it here for the first half at Boston English. At Saunders Stadium, as Boston English leads the South Boston Knights 28-17. to Zip. And down on the field.
Well, let's recap that last piece.
I mean, yeah,
all right, now what happened was there was a 2-point conversion. Okay, English is trying to simple handoff. They get stopped, but the ball pops out, and so understandably, the coaches on the South Boston side are saying, after our guy picked it up, why isn't the ball still alive?
That's right.
And the referee did go over to the sideline and just say, well, it was blown dead, so even though they picked it up, it's everything is dead, and then just happens it's halftime.
That's right. so certainly a confusing play to end the half there. South Boston, certainly a lot of frustrations.
At every level. I'm telling you, offense, defense, special teams, fumble the ball, can't hold on to the ball, can't tackle correctly. But they made a couple of good plays, and you just hope that emotion can carry over and they can put some points on the board in the second half.
Right now down on the field, our sideline reporter Michelle Fenelon is with the head coach of the Boston English Eagles, Ryan Conway. Michelle, take it away.
Joined now by English head coach Ryan Conway. Coach, before the game, I asked you how much will you lean on the running game knowing that you have a third-string quarterback in, and you told me we can throw the ball, but we haven't seen many pass attempts. What have you liked from your running game so far?
Well, I think we're controlling the game, and I think we're doing a good job of controlling the clock as well. So I don't think we'll stray too much. You throw the ball, it's incomplete, clock stops.
But South Boston will try to adjust knowing that you guys been running the ball so much. What's your plan for the second half?
We're going to make some adjustments too. We might throw as well. So if they come up and they stack the box, then we'll push them back. We'll throw so they back up.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
How's that? Don't walk. Thanks very much, Michelle. And Coach Conway, he knows this.
He's going to throw the ball. He's going to run the ball the whole half.
They have like 27 running backs they can hand the ball to.
He has 9 different running backs in the first quarter.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a little tongue-in-cheek there.
Sure.
I don't think he cares whether South Boston comes up into the box or not.
Right.
He's just going to run.
Half the neighborhood could be up in the box. He's still going to run
there
the ball
exactly.
there in the second half. So Coach Conway and Boston English in full control. Meanwhile, Southie, certainly frustrated. This is certainly a teaching moment for Coach Settiway right now.
Oh, definitely. And like I said, I looked at their roster. 18 of their players are either sophomore. I think there was 14 sophomores and 4 freshmen. We're seeing some of that inexperience. We're seeing that we talked about the combination of Burke and South Boston combining, and a lot of times it's just no familiarity at all, especially with the juniors and seniors. And that's how you end up with such a losing season so far, and on their way to what would be their 6th loss of the season. But again, the emotion's there. They got a warning from the sideline. We've seen some yapping back and forth. We've seen a couple of little hits and nudges, a couple of elbows after the whistle blows. So the South Boston players, they do have the emotional part of it. They just got to be able to play together a little better and probably just get some experience. Because you're just seeing inexperienced players, getting faked out, falling for ball fakes, and just not really, like you say, form tackle. You haven't said it yet, right?
Yet.
I got to say it for you, right?
haven't seen it yet.
There you go.
So we'll see if Southie can make some adjustments, try to climb back into this game. Meanwhile, Boston English looking to get their 3rd win of the season here at Saunders Stadium. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime stats and some halftime highlights before we get going here at Saunders for the 3rd quarter here on Game of the Week, right after these words. Don't go away.
Foster safety. Foster hope. Foster joy. Foster curiosity. Foster support. Become a foster parent, because every parent makes a difference. Foster, Massachusetts.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. Then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again. But an awkward silence can be a great thing, like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Saunders Stadium in South Boston. We're at the half here on Game of the Week as the English Eagles lead the South Boston Knights 28-0. And folks, we're going to take a look at the halftime stats here from Saunders Stadium before we get going here in the third quarter. And first up, it's going to be the South Boston Knights.
Not much at all. You see Withers, 7 carries, total of 2 yards. A lot of throwing for loss situations. Receiving Almonte, 2 catches for 23 yards, and Brown had 1 for 5. So the only success they had on offense, they had 3 completions. That's Martin with 3 out of 4 for 28 yards. Hopefully, he'll have more time to throw the ball and try to put some points on the board for South Boston.
Let's take a look at the Boston English halftime stats.
Yeah, we talked about them having 9 different players running the ball. Kerr, 3 carries, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oligan playing out of position, you could say, 2 for 26 yards, also in a touchdown. And Oligan, surprisingly, he threw the ball one time, was incomplete, but I don't know if we'll see many passes in the second half. They're running so well and taking advantage of the inexperienced South Boston team. Keep it on the ground, run the clock out, go home with a nice win.
That's right. And certainly in the first half, we saw a lot of different running backs carry the football rather, but it was Keyshawn Kerr who made the biggest impact early.
You got to say early. That's the key. He opened the game, 10-yard touchdown run. As soon as English got the ball, this was actually probably his best run, as he was able to get them in scoring position again, and there he goes, gliding into the end zone. That's the key. I mean, when you get a young team and put them in a hole early, that's what we're seeing tonight. South Boston, some frustration, angry, and we'll see how they play second half.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see if they come out with a little more emotion in the second half, but controlled emotion that they need to see there out of their team. Our sideline reporter, Michelle Fenelon, has an update and a little story for us down on the field. So, Michelle, take it away.
South Boston head coach Jermaine Satterwhite said it's been an up and down season for his football team, not because they haven't won any games, but because this is the first year South Boston and Burke have combined football programs. But one person he's leaned on throughout the entire season is actually English's head coach Ryan Conway. He's asked him, how do I get both programs to buy into his philosophy? And Conway has told him patience, have patience in his players and have patience in his program. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Michelle. And, it's nice to have a guy who's been through it before that you can lean on. And Jermaine and Ryan have known each other for years. So being able to talk to each other about that, even though they're playing each other tonight, is a nice little thing to have.
And of course, it's something that there's no real perfect formula for it. You're combining 2 programs who are used to being on their own, having their own head coach, having their own captains on the team, having their their own leaders, the whole thing, and you're trying to combine that to make it one cohesive unit. It's very difficult, and a lot of times the players, even though they think they're buying in, it actually probably takes more of a mental and emotional adjustment. To sort of step back and say, okay, where do I really fit in this new situation?
That's
and
right.
That's why it's interesting. She said that the coach said patience. And that's exactly what it's going to take, because what South Boston is going through right now, it's growing pains.
That's
really
right.
Growing pains. But he does have a lot of young players. He has a lot of sophomores and freshmen. Keep them involved. Give them the off-season program. Before you know it, they come back next fall, very different players. So we'll see.
We'll see if that maturation even happens throughout this game here, as they had certainly a tough first half. We'll see if they can make some adjustments here in the second half. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the start of the third quarter here at Saunders Stadium in South Boston here on Game of the Week right after these words. Don't go away.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Saunders Stadium in South Boston, as we are just about set to go here in the third quarter on Game of the Week. Boston English leading South Boston 28-0. And South Boston going to have to kick off here to start the third quarter. We'll see if their defense can make any stops, try to get things going.
Well, that's the key, obviously. I mean, you can't score and you don't get the ball back. And English has done a good job, and did a good job in the first half controlling the ball, because they virtually ran it every play except for one.
Well, for Southie, I mean, offensively, their best plays were through the air.
Exactly, and I think at this point, you just let it continue that. You know, allow the quarterback to get used to his receivers.
Southie goes with the squib kick. It goes off an English player, and Southie recovered down the sideline.
Unless he was out of bounds first.
I think he was.
Let's see what the officials call. Because like you said, the key to the whole thing, Pat, like you said, it touched an English player. Let's see what the officials are saying. It's funny too because it was sort of a squib kick, but it wasn't. It was like a directional. It is right.
South Boston does recover.
Oh.
So South Boston recovers the
kickoff.
Yep.
You see it. Gets by the first line. He's heading bounce. Yeah.
I think that was.
The lineman had it, so he's right on top of the plate.
I think that was Almonte who snuck in there for the recovery.
Good hustle. That's the way you want to make a play on special teams.
So see if that gets things going here for South Boston to start the third quarter.
I think I would love to just see them come out throwing the football. I mean, Withers has the 7 carries, but he's actually, quite frankly, been taking a beating. He's as good as he is. He's 155 pounds. So I mean, if anything, throw him a screen pass, or let him have like a wheel run or something out of the backfield. Just trying to get the yard marker set up.
So Southie takes over at the English 43-yard line after the recovery on the kickoff. On first down, they give it to Withers. This time picks up a decent gain past the 40 up to the 38-yard line.
Well, a few times he's had some running room.
Actually, mark him down at the 39, excuse me. So 4-yard carry there for Withers.
You mix in a pass here and there, you might get that English defense to loosen up a little bit. Because so far, they've just been reacting to everything.
2nd and 6 now for the Knights. Now it's Martin. He's going to be wrapped up in the backfield. Got a flag on the play, maybe a face mask. We'll see what comes of this.
Well, that might save that play for South Boston.
Yeah, it was Josiah Jean getting in there on the stop.
Hey, say one more word.
Tripping on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Still 2nd down. First down.
Not only do you have a sack, well, it turns out to be a sack, but there's a tripping penalty on South Boston, which is going to take them back further. Wow. So if you
saw it at the end of the line there.
Yeah.
I think a lineman was trying to do a cut block, but with the way that the lineman did it, they kicked their legs
his
up
leg
and
out.
tried to kick it.
Well, we're close to seeing just about every mistake a team can make.
Sure.
I mean, we've seen
the gamut.
Turnovers. Haven't had interception yet, but it's just been a tough night for the Knights.
It's going to be 2nd 24 now for South Boston. See Nathan Martin. I think he's going to go to the air over the next couple of plays unless they get another penalty,
got
which
2
I think
plays
is
in
going to
motion,
be
looks like.
a legal procedure.
Encroachment on the defense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
I get 5 of those yards back. I mentioned earlier, South Boston just had a tough time scoring the entire season. They did score 14 points twice. But this English team, we know, has been on that high and low, mountain or valley, right? We happened to catch them on a good night.
That's
a couple
right.
weeks
at
ago.
The top of the roller coaster.
Yeah, they were able to get a good high-scoring win against Charlestown.
Another high snap. They try to get it to the outside. And good pursuit that time by Luke McDonald, who comes up with the tackle as they tried to give it to Almonte on a sweep. But he couldn't find the edge there for Southie.
The high snap sort of throws the timing off a bit. Now, Almonte ideally would get that handoff while he's trying to get to full speed. But you have to actually wait for the ball to get there.
Luke McDonald now with 6 tackles for Boston English.
A couple of English players have really having good games on that side of the ball. And that's what you need if you're seriously trying to build toward a playoff situation, and you want to, especially if you go in as a under 500 team. A lot of times you can have your opposition overlook you.
Another 3rd and long situation here for Southie.
Another offside, too.
It's going to be encroachment on English.
Encroachment.
Looks like
Martin
5-yard
penalty. Still 3rd down.
Yeah, the cadence and the actual count, because in the first half, English was they're so over aggressive. Watch left of your screen, you'll see one. Yeah, he's all the way in. Still 3rd and long though. Still 3rd and about 15.
Third,
so.
Yeah, 3rd and about 14 or 15. Yeah.
The English, they were guessing a lot the first half, and those last 2 penalties just got fooled a bit with a longer count. Let's see if Martin can get the ball downfield, though. We've seen him throw a couple short passes. Let's see if we can sort of air it out. Get another one. Yeah. See that now the English coaches are saying at this point, okay, now what is it that you need to learn? There's 3 in a row. Okay, just wait till the ball snaps. It's like there's absolutely no excuse at all.
I think it's been 3 different players for English too that keep jumping.
That's what makes it worse. You know?
Tyrese Ford that time coming across.
Well, I tell you, 2 more. Get South Boston the first down.
Right.
You've already given them 15 yards.
Now we're back to
what's that, 10 yard? Yeah. And we're showing blitz. Well, he's definitely using a longer count now. He's just trying to draw him offside.
Martin got some protection going over the middle to the tight end who couldn't hang on to it.
Best chance by far. As a matter of fact, he had enough room. He might have scored. I mean, good throw. Watch Martin. Gets a little pressure late. But you got the big tight end. Yeah, when you get both hands on it, yeah. That's a frustrating play there because it's a 3rd and 10. You make the right call. He runs the right pattern, goes right through the gloves. And the safety had actually fallen down, so he had some room in front of him.
So 4th and 10 now for South Boston after almost connecting on a pass over the middle that could have gone for a touchdown.
That was like the 2nd time they threw to the tight end, right? So, well, that's.
We'll see what Martin and the Knights can do here. Martin trying to scramble. This time he's wrapped up in the backfield for the sack. at the 40-yard line.
That time the blitz.
I'm sorry, the 50-yard line.
The blitz actually guessed right on the count because Martin had no time at all, couldn't roll out. So English takes over on downs. Well, I mean, it's sort of still tough sledding for South Boston, but again, a couple of good things. The squib kick recovery, that's a pure hustle play, along with a good job by the kicker. That last pass across the middle to the tight ends, like you said, I think you're right. Probably would have been a touchdown because he was in full stride, just needed to pull it in.
So English takes over at midfield after the turnover on downs from South Boston. Now on first down, it's DeAndre Ball this time at quarterback as he got a couple of snaps in the first half. See a little more chirping going on now.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a mix-up on the handoff there. It's kept the ball and just got swarmed over. Well, South Boston already has a sideline warning from the first half, so next one will cost them 15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct.
So 1 yard loss in the play there for English. They'll be faced with a 2nd and 11. It's Oligan back in there at quarterback, and Alagon this time takes it himself up to the 46-yard line of South Boston.
But that's again, that was supposed to be a handoff. He tried to pull it back and kept possession, got something out of it. You got to wonder if you're a tight end and then all of a sudden you're a quarterback and you're just not used to like no contact. Right. So you got to call your own play a few times.
Yeah, you used to get hit every play if you're a tight end, for the most part.
You've got your head on a swivel, and here you are now just handing off, one pass the whole game.
Sort of stepping out of the way after your handoff.
Let me at least run it.
So Alagon did a nice job tonight. This time they try to run the sweep.
He was down, too bad.
Ferrero slipped in the backfield.
That's too bad, too, because once he was going to cut back inside, see right there, he was going to cut, lost his footing. He did have some room back to the middle. Now it looks like English is going to punt.
So good stop there for South Boston as they turn English over on downs after English turns Southie over on downs.
Oh, it should be 4th down. Should be.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it should be 4th.
They're going to force them to punt rather
right.
and turn them over on downs. Looks like Almonte is back to receive for the Knights. Pierre Joseph back to kick for English. High spiraling kick there for the Eagles. That'll be down right around the 25, make that the 23-yard line.
Let's see Martin's arm again. I mean, South Boston still not any kind of success running the football, so he just had the tight end wide open. Go back to that same play.
Nathan Martin coming back out. I also wonder if they maybe try to get Withers in space and throw it to him out in the flat.
Well,
get him in a one-on-one situation at some point with the ball, rather than taking a handoff.
Well, ideally, you can move him around a little bit, something different. They're missing one of their linemen, so here he comes.
As we mentioned, no clock here at the stadium, so they're keeping time down on the field. We're still in the 3rd quarter here at Saunders Stadium. In the shotgun, they try to pitch it to Withers as he tries to get to the outside, slips a tackle, and makes his way essentially back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was a deep pitch in the backfield, so he had to work just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
George Zabalou once again in the backfield, coming up with the stop for Boston English.
Been saying his name all night.
Just saw a shot of Coach Jermaine Satterwhite, the head coach for South Boston. In his third season now with Southie after being an assistant for 1 year under Brian Vaughn the year before he took over. 2nd and 10 now for the Knights. And Martin hands off up the middle. Pretty good gain here for Southie. Looked like it was Pimentel. I think it was Louis Pimentel that time on the carry. Yes, it was. Straight up the gut.
Yeah. Good second effort to run out of 2 defenders for English. And
so the Knights pick up the first down.
Their longest play of the game?
Certainly their youngest
game, definitely. Well, two of the passes were close to the pass. Yeah, right. Yeah, so.
So Pimentel with a good pickup there, 14 yards, gives South Boston a first down. And this time Southie fumbles the ball in the backfield. I believe they recovered it.
Yeah, the high snap again threw off the timing. As you see the running back looking for the ball and actually bounced off his shoulder pad.
You also saw the defense penetrating before the handoff even happened.
Well,
so you saw Withers kind of
that's
look
been
up
happening all night
before he even got the ball.
Right. Yeah, that's been a regular occurrence.
So once again, South Boston with 1 or 2 good plays.
I was just going to say, tough time trying to put a couple of plays together.
Coach Satterwhite mentioned too that when you look at some of the big scores from this season, he said that we make a couple of mistakes, but each time it seemed like we made a mistake, turned into a touchdown for the other team.
Points, right? Yeah.
Handoff here for Southie again, another fumble, and English recovers. And bringing it in for a touchdown is Barrero for Boston English. We got a flag on the play. I'm sorry, it was DeAndre Ball who brought it back for English.
Well, very difficult series for the Knights. They actually had 2 fumbles in that series, and this last one, scoop and score. Yeah, bounced right off the pad. He knows where he's going. Nice little move they put on Martin, little fake there to get to the corner of the end zone.
I guess it wasn't a penalty. I thought I saw the ref pick up the flag. So it could have been the marker for
he threw the bag for the fumble. Yeah.
So Boston English scoring on defense this time as DeAndre Ball brought it back for a touchdown on the fumble recovery. Now Allagon in there at quarterback for English, looking to convert another 2-point conversion. And Hakeem
a jump pass
over the middle, but it was dropped that time.
Well, try a little bit of everything.
87 for Boston English, Jaden Garcia.
The tight end, Garcia wide open. Yeah, couldn't pull it in.
Allagon surprised everybody, even the tight end.
Well, I tell you, he used his height on that one because he waited for Garcia to clear the safety, wide open. Yeah. So. Well,
so Boston English now with a 34-point lead here late in the third quarter. I'm sure if you're South Boston right now, you just want to try to see if you can put a score up before the end of the game.
That's exactly what it is. That's. I mean, it's tough enough to get beat by a big score, but you at least never want to be shut out. Not sure what this conference is about. Well, all the officials there, so I it's a little puzzling here.
Yeah, it looks like the coaches are going to meet here at midfield.
Yeah, it must have been the end of the quarter because they're switching sides. But like you said, the coaches are meeting at midfield, which is really unusual.
We had confusion at the end of the first quarter, at the end of the half, and now we have confusion at the end of the third quarter. So each time each period ends, we have
some mystery, right?
Some kind of mystery that we can't quite figure out.
Yeah, this is
you gotta just
whatever it is, it's taking a while. I can't.
Obviously, looking at the score, you gotta think this is some type of,
you want to let it go. Yeah, you can stop it. It's up to the coaches. As long as
South Boston gets one offensive possession, then maybe end it, or
as long as both coaches agree, that's what happens.
Luckily, you got two coaches who know each other very well.
There you go. I mean, and on the English side, Coach Conway doesn't want to see his team really run it up against his friends, because clearly with all the mistakes all the miscues we've had from South Boston, it could really get into a big score, but a bigger score than it is now. And like we said before, South Boston's already lost. Get shut out 38-0 in one game. They don't put a lot of points, so we'll see. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes we have seen it before where they get one possession and they might decide to let it go.
So now we're in the fourth quarter as Boston English kicks off to Southie, and the Knights try for a return here as it's brought up to the 36-yard line by Withers.
Well, we talked about South Boston's season earlier. The English, like you said, they had three of their first 4 games were losses, but they were all out of the city. Weston, St. Mary's, and Manchester Essex. The one city game they played in those first 4 games, they beat East Boston 40-0. Then they end up beating Charlestown, the game we did. Big score, 38-0, and then like we mentioned, Tech Boston, a defensive struggle of all things. It's totally unexpected, losing that one 12-6. So this has been a real up and down season for English.
And that was a game last week where English it slipped out of English's hands a little bit. It was a crazy game. Last Friday night's weather was horrendous. There was rain that didn't let up. There was some wind. Boston English was up at the half 6-0 after a rushing touchdown, I believe, by Luke McDonald in the second quarter. And then I believe English had a turnover.
Scoop and score. There was a scoop and score in the game, yeah.
They had a turnover where Tech Boston ran it in for a touchdown on the next play. And then with the game, I believe, tied at 6, then Tech Boston had the scoop and score in the fourth quarter to go ahead. So it was one of those games where Coach Conway was just kind of frustrated, but
different
also
type of frustration, right?
Because he knew, he even said to us before the game, he said, it was raining like heck. There was a lot going on in that game. we got high school football players out here. They're going to make mistakes. So he was actually pretty calm about it and probably appreciated the effort by his defense, where you have a guy like Julius Gillard, the quarterback for Tech Boston, who can run all over the place. They limited him to like 40 yards.
Like a water bug.
That's right. That's right. They limited him to like 40, 45 yards. So you see George Zabalou down on the field. He's been their best defensive player tonight, making plays all over the field. So we'll see if he's all right. Folks, next week we're going to be back over at East Boston. Next Friday night, October 25th at 6 p.m. as the Latin Academy Dragons take on the East Boston Jets. Those are two Boston North teams who, with a win, could certainly make the playoffs if either one of those teams picks up a W next week. So that'll be a big one for both teams. Once again, that's next Friday, October 25th at 6 p.m. You can watch that live on Boston City TV, Channel 24 on Comcast, Channel 13 on RCN, and Channel 1962 on Verizon. It'll be nice to see East Boston. We've tried to cover Eastie 2 times this year, and both times we had to cancel our productions because of weather. So hopefully we'll get good weather next Friday. Take a look at the bottom of the screen here. It looks like teammate might have rolled it. It looked like
Alagon. How often does a quarterback injure his teammate?
Yeah, it rolled right over him. Looks like Zabalou's going to be okay.
Yeah, a little bit of a limp. Okay, let's see if
they get Zabalou off the field. It'll be 2nd and 7 now for the Southie Knights. Martin this time rolling to his left, looking to escape pressure, throw it over to the sideline, and no one there for him as he just has to throw it away.
Looked like his receiver actually broke off his pattern. Looked like Martin expected him to go deeper downfield. Nice block there by Withers. Keep the play alive. It's tough when you're rolling. A right-handed guy rolling to his left, you got to turn your entire body.
Throw.
Yeah.
So it'll be 3rd and 7 now for the Knights.
Still wondering what that conference was. They had all the officials, both head coaches.
It also could have been, they are keeping time down on the field. It also could have been, hey, we might speed up the clock a little bit here in the fourth quarter.
Possibly, yeah.
Third and 7 now for the Knights. Another high snap here for Southie. Martin again just has to pounce on it. That's been a recurring theme for the Knights here this evening.
That's what, the third one like that? Then they had the one over the punter's head. So that's a lot of times what makes this a big deal is that in most games you just don't see it happen so repeatedly. You almost take it for granted the exchange, whether it's going to be a center quarterback exchange or shotgun like we've seen all night. And some teams adjust. I mean, we've seen shotguns where quarterback is actually back 7, 8 yards.
Well, our sideline reporter, Michelle Fenelon, down on the field. She's got an update on the injured George Zabalou. So, Michelle, take it away.
Quick injury update for you guys. George Zabalou just limped off the field. He told the trainer that it was his left knee. He pointed to the outside of his knee, but right now he is out for the game. Back to you guys.
Yeah, see Zabalou up on the table there, getting his knee checked out as Martin is sacked in the backfield again.
Yeah, just not any time. You see Martin trying to look downfield, steps up and.
So English will take over here on downs.
And it looks like we're going to see an entire new unit for English.
They'll be at the South Boston 23-yard line.
What's up for the quarterback? He's still in.
You wonder, too, with the injuries to the starting two quarterbacks, I know at least Ja'Kai Smith is probably going to play in their next game. I don't think his injury is too serious. I don't know how serious Chris Smith's injury is. They both hurt their ankles in their last game. But you certainly, after having your two guys get hurt in the previous game, you need a third guy. And
definitely.
It might just be Conway just wants to get Oligon some more snaps.
I think that's what it is, because he started the game well. I mean, it was easy handing off.
Penalty,
but he
pass the
also,
distance to the goal, first down.
You talk about managing a game, which basically means you're not going to throw that much. that's what it comes down to. Make your handoffs, you know, don't have any procedure penalties, line your guys up correctly. And so you're right. So far, he's done that well. And I really do think it's because he was one of the major players as a tight end anyway, on both sides of the ball. And so it was easier for him to take control of the huddle, for the guys to look at him and say, okay, we're listening. Okay, what do I do? You know, and get it right. Because when against Charlestown, he had a major impact as a tight end. Went deep downfield a couple times.
He had several big catches in that game. The handoff here for English gets them inside the 10-yard line down to the 7. Just had a big penalty on South Boston. I'm guessing it was some kind of extracurricular activities after the last play.
Either that or the sideline infraction. Another English running back.
Josiah Jean getting the carry that time.
Now for English, their schedule's a little strange. Now they actually finish up tonight with the
regular
division
season
schedule. So just see, like you were saying earlier, they'll see if this win places them in a playoff spot. And of course, they have their annual Thanksgiving game.
Nice run into the end zone for the touchdown there for the English Eagles. As it's Josiah Jean finishing
again?
that run strong.
Yeah.
Jean pile driving in to the end zone there for Boston English.
Use that size and head of steam. And there was some more yakking after that play. Looks like they may have thrown one of the English players out. Yeah, number 77's been thrown out.
We have a dead ball on sportsmanlike conduct on English High School. South Boston is elected to have the penalty enforced on the ensuing kickoff. There'll be an untimed down for the extra point.
So in sportsmanlike conduct after that touchdown run, it'll be enforced on the kickoff because Boston English committed the penalty.
Well, if you're English, I mean, you look at this game a couple different ways. You like the way you started out crisp, jumped out to a big lead, forced some turnovers, and obviously scored a lot of points. Other side of it as well, South Boston, young team, inexperienced, not really well coordinated at this point, just having a tough season. So you just don't know how to gauge this kind of a win. Double reverse.
Reverse
nice
here
wow.
to 14, Giovanni Antoine, and he gets in for the 2-point conversion.
And it's going to be a late hit.
A late hit also on
Giovanni
South
got
Boston.
popped after we spun. He was already in the end zone. And then we're going to get the other sideline flag. And you see, when you see the referee throw it that far in the air,
that's right.
That's the other sideline play. The sideline. I'm not sure if it was a particular coach or a player, but that's definitely. I mean, you get one warning. Then after that, if it continues, you get flags, and they're 15-yard penalties with the possibility of an ejection.
I also wonder when we talk about that conference that they had at midfield, that could have been it as well.
Yeah,
the referee
for a game that's been so out of hand so early, I can't remember a game like this that's had so much yapping back and forth.
Right.
It's I mean, from the South Boston
Dead
side,
ball.
it makes no sense.
Personal foul, a late hit on South Boston.
Yeah, that was a late hit, definitely.
That foul, the penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
So basically, you're just going to put the kickoff where it's supposed to be.
Right.
Because there's
Back to
already a
square
penalty
one.
on English. Now watch it right after the play. Now once he spins in the end zone, okay, he's going to spin again, then get whacked. Yeah, that was the late hit. But believe me, he scored the touchdown. I mean, the 2-point conversion. So he's not feeling that hit at all.
No.
From going from not sure if you're going to play at all to putting some points on the board, hey, I'll take it.
And these two teams, right now, it looks like they might be ending this game. I'm not sure yet. There's just the way that the two teams are huddling up. It could be the
you're
case.
right. That gives, I think you might be onto something, Pat, because this is totally unusual.
I think Coach Satterwhite's seeing some of his players who are doing some stuff after the whistle, and he doesn't want to see any more of that. Maybe that's what they're deciding here. Or he's bringing his guys in saying, enough of this.
Let's
isn't
finish
how
up.
we're supposed to do this.
Let's finish up the way you're supposed to play the game, right?
See what happens here, as Coach Conway was just speaking to one of the referees as well. Now he's talking to his guys.
Well, both teams have been yapping virtually from the beginning. Well, I think after English scored those two quick touchdowns, it started. A little after some plays, so there was some little pushing and shoving. Like we said, a lot of talking. South Boston sideline did get a warning from the referee.
That's right.
For complaining, and so we'll see. We'll see what how this last 5 or 6 minutes can bring.
I think what we're hearing from our truck is that it is going to be running time the rest of the way once they start this kickoff. Once again, English with the squib kick towards the Southie sideline. Southie recovers right around the 39.
The quarterback. That's a good decision. Just let the clock run. I mean, the game was out of hand a long time ago. 42-0.
Boston English, as we mentioned, picking up their third win of the season, finishing up at 3-4. As you mentioned, Alan, bye week next week, so I think 3-4 will get them in, especially in Division 8, to the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens after that.
No telling what kind of a matchup they'll get, but If you're in, you're in.
Right.
In gives you a chance.
Sure.
Okay.
When you have all these running backs that English has, and if you get your quarterback back and you have your tight end that plays tight end next time
I was just going to say.
you're around, you've got some guys who can make some plays. You
definitely do.
You can sneak up on some teams.
And you have to, from the coach's perspective, you have to wonder, okay, those 3 losses early in the season to teams outside of Boston, a couple of those were much tougher competition, bigger teams, and so you may have learned from those losses. One of them they got shut out by Manchester Essex 28-0, and they got shut out by Western 32-0. But you get beat like that, that can get you angry and fueled for the rest of your season. So if you're looking at getting to the playoffs, you want to make up for those 3 losses.
They pitch it over to Withers, and Withers looking for some space. Good run here by him.
That should be a couple of flags.
That's definitely going to be a late hit on Boston English.
So it's going to be 15 yards more after that run.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You see Withers, first time he got any kind of running room. Now he's going to get knocked out of bounds, gets hit right there, but Withers just pops right back up. he wasn't really saying it. He just got up and ready to go. He knew he got a flag, 15 yards to add it on to his run.
So big time run there for Withers. Yeah. And then we tack on the 15 on top of it. So 19-yard run, 15-yard penalty. Net gain of 34 yards there for South Boston.
The offense, like you said earlier, Pat, they just want to score. At this point, let's just score a touchdown. With all the frustration, all the mishaps, all the miscues they've had, bad snaps, fumbles, gave up a scoop score last time. Let's finish up with something positive.
Now on first down for South Boston from the 26-yard line, and Martin is sacked and then fumbles the ball right around the 34.
They may have called the sack
Might
first.
have called him down.
Right, yeah. He wasn't actually down, but he was sure wrapped up. I mean, he got hit by 3 guys. Yeah, 1, 2, well, 2. Well, the third guy came in late.
Nate Martin coming up gingerly.
Oh, yeah, he went down in a heap.
Might have turned his ankle there.
I think that third defender who came in might have rolled on his leg.
Now we got another flag here on South Boston. One of the coaches, I believe, just got a flag.
And the officials can decide to just end this. It's maybe the South Boston coach may believe that there's a little extra in that last sack.
I mean, I didn't see anything there that was egregious against Boston English.
I think Martin, unfortunately, just went down,
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the South Boston bench. 15-yard penalty. Still second down.
Yeah. I think it unfortunate for Martin, he just went down in a heap. And a lot of times you're twisting, turning. There you go. And looked like the third defender who came in, who already had his momentum toward the tackle, excuse me, might have landed on him awkwardly. But South Boston's coach may have seen it differently. It's just frustrating. I mean, it's tough when you're this frustrated for an entire game. I mean, there was really no stretch of the game where South Boston could really feel good.
Sure.
So everything, and then that sort of makes you look for things that that happen. Like it's just coming off the
They had a big run, they had a penalty to get them
right.
deep in English territory. Then you get a sack, and you're saying, here we go, we're going backwards again. Frustration spilling over without question.
With the backup quarterback in there, and that's that Almonte?
I think that is Almonte who's taking it himself. Or is that Withers with the carry? Can't quite see from up here. As I believe that was Withers who got the direct snap that time. And I think that's going to do it.
Yeah. Good choice.
So the Boston English Eagles pick up their 3rd win of the season here this evening.
So you're right, 3-4. That should put them in a situation where they can sneak into that first round of the playoffs. Now, in the past, we've seen Boston teams in the first round play other Boston teams.
That's right.
So these games, even though English is off next week, these other teams who do play may determine who English plays and where.
Sure, they might play Tech Boston again.
Yeah, that's very possible. Right. It's just up in the air. But like you said from the open, English has a lot to play for. They came out, to their credit, they came out offense and defense. First 5 minutes of the game, they just grabbed hold of the game.
Right.
2 quick touchdowns, good plays on defense, forcing turnovers, sacking. So they did their part. So now now the coaches have a lot to build on positively. And they listen, you can't win a playoff game unless you get a playoff game.
That's right.
We get a playoff game, let's see what we can do.
We'll see what happens.
Like you said, 9 running backs, all who have some talent.
Sure.
Okay, the key is obviously you got to get a quarterback back. You need some kind of passing game. But give Mulligan credit. Like I said, he managed the game very well.
He did.
And they're on an upward swing. I think that they probably learned a lot from that loss to Tech Boston, too. You think about it. Like you said, it was a bizarre game, turnovers, crazy weather and all that. So it's. I think that you probably feel good because you defended so well. And especially against that quarterback, Goliath, from Tech Boston. We saw him against O'Brien and what he can do. So it's, English is, it's for a team to start it out with those 3 bad losses out of the first 4 games, they have a chance to end up on a really high note.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. They have a week to kind of rest up and to heal some injuries, and then we think they'll be in the playoffs. I don't see why they wouldn't with the 3 wins here in 2019. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our Game of the Week MVP and our final stats here from Saunders Stadium in South Boston right after these words. Don't go away.
Foster safety. Foster hope. Foster joy. Foster curiosity. Foster support. Become a foster parent, because every parent makes a difference. Foster, Massachusetts.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
You willing to step out of the vehicle for me?
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more. Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys. Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again. But an awkward silence can be a great thing, like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Queen is just my everything. His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Saunders Stadium in South Boston as the Boston English Eagles defeat the South Boston Knights 42-0 here in Southie. And Boston English probably punched a ticket to the playoffs. Good job handling
You're putting them in anyway, right?
I think they should be in. But good job handling a crazy quarterback situation.
Oh, yeah.
And how often did both your starter and your backup get hurt the week before?
Well, not only that, I mean, think of it. Okay, they're talking about roller coaster. They've gone from last week where they, like you said, lost both quarterbacks,
right,
uncertainty, to now this week where they used a tight end, veteran player, to help get this win. And they have a week off. So in reality, chances are one of those guys, one of those quarterbacks, will be ready once they get off their bye week. So, and like you're saying, it'll probably be going into a playoff game. So I think that you never know how things are going to turn out. It seemed like it was all bad when you get 2 bad ankles injuries, so both kids are out. But you look around your squad, who has the skill, the leadership ability, and you pick your tight ends. That works out. It helps that you played against a team that's really struggling all season. But
that's right.
When things are going okay, you can get a little run going. And like I said, I really do think that they learned some good lessons from that loss last week to a good Tech Boston team. That they were able to keep it low scoring, do some things pretty well, and so I think right now they're feeling very good.
No question. Yeah. And last couple of weeks they've shown some very good play on the defensive side of the ball. Tonight, our MVP of the game is George Zabalou. He had a fantastic game on defense and special teams. He's down on the field with Coach Ryan Conway and our sideline reporter, Michelle Fenelon. Michelle, take it away.
Joined now by George Zabalou and head coach Ryan Conway. George, first question. You went down early early in that fourth quarter. How are you feeling?
I'm hurt, but I'm happy for the win. My team did good. My linemen did good. Thank you for the coaches and everyone coming out to support us, especially my parents. And it's really like we just got to work harder. We took a tough loss last week against Tech Boston. They was a better team, and we just got to come back and fight out. That's how it really is.
Big game for you, though. 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries. How much did last game's loss have an effect on your motivation this week?
Our team was hurt. We was like very hurt about how we just lost. They was just a better team. Like they fought better. They had a good QB, but it's just like today we had to come out and do what we got to do to win because it's very scary right now.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. I'm going to move over and talk to your coach right now.
Thank you.
Coach,
how you doing?
Congratulations on the win. Your offense was really well today. You played really well today, even though your starting quarterback and backup quarterback didn't play. How happy are you with the way they performed?
I'm thrilled. You know, the kids, they responded well. They were upset about their loss last week. They were upset that their 2 quarterbacks were out. They know that they had to respond, especially the line, so they stepped up really big this week.
It's towards the end of the season. How happy are you with the way your team's progressing?
I think there's always room for improvement. I think that we didn't execute well last week. I think that they're upset. And I think right now they got a chip on their little shoulder and they're trying to prove a point. So we'll see what happens from here on out.
Lastly, what are some of those improvements you want to see?
Ball security. I wrote a couple things down that that we got to work on during the week, like I did last week, which is something we always do. It's live, something I see like immediately. Ball security is 1. Staying on our blocks a little bit longer is 2. Execution is 3. Like we just got to execute a little bit better.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Back to you guys.
Michelle, thanks very much. Coach Conway happy with the win and hoping that his team gets into the playoffs here in 2019. Let's take a look at the final stats here from Saunders Stadium before we sign off. And first up, it's going to be the South Boston Knights.
You know, South Boston, Withers, we came in, we talked about him in the open. Their best offensive player, 12 carries, 28 yards. Pimentel had that 1 carry for 14 yards. Then receiving, Montes caught 3 for 32. Brown caught 1 for 5. Overall, quarterback Martin, 4 for 8, 37 yards. Unfortunately, slight injury near the end of the game. Hopefully he'll be okay for the rest of the season.
Let's take a look at English's final stats.
For English, Kerr started things out just the way you want him. First touchdown. 3 carries, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had Olagun, the quarterback, the converted tight end, 3 carries, 31 yards and a touchdown. He only threw 2 passes, didn't complete any, didn't need to. Didn't need even to throw those 2 passes. But as it turned out, you know, you mix it up, give him a chance to loosen up his arm. We'll see how it goes from here on. But again, I think Coach Conway's happy, and when he really thinks about it, like I said earlier, a lot of ups and downs took place. Okay, you're hoping one of the quarterbacks gets back, or hoping you both get back. But the fact of the matter is, okay, you're playing pretty well. You've won some games. Your offense is clicking. Great game defensively. Olagun, hopefully he'll be okay. He'll have some extra time to get ready.
That's right.
Get better, you know, and tape him up and let's go. And I think, and one of the things about English is every season, in the back of their minds is Thanksgiving. Okay, English Latin.
That's
and
right.
Especially because for the past, I don't even want to give the numbers, but quite frankly, Latin's dominated the series, okay, over a number of years. And with this English team, who has been so up and down, if they can be the good English team on Thanksgiving, they can get a win.
Sure.
And that, I know.
That helps make your season.
I was just going to say, years and years and years. I can remember that, you know, no matter who was ahead, whether English had a nice roll or Latin had a nice roll, as soon as a winning streak is broken, it's huge. So
It's
something
news
in the
across
back
the
of the head.
city.
There you go.
Without
Right.
question. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. We'll see if this English team gets into the postseason. A lot is going to happen over the next couple of weeks in City League and across the state, Massachusetts high school football. Folks, we're going to say so long here from Saunders Stadium. If you want to watch this game again, you can certainly go to our website, www.cityofboston.gov/game of the week. All the games from this season should be up on that site. You can also go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/game of the week Boston. A lot of good links and different videos to watch and information about our upcoming games. You can also follow us on Twitter @BostonCityTV. If you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. We're going to be in East Boston next week, next Friday night, to finish off the regular season before the playoffs get going. But for right now, we're going to say so long from Saunders Stadium in Southie. We'll see you next time here on Game of the Week. Take care, everybody.